Hello guys, welcome back to Movie Reviews for another episode really of Series 18. And yeah, this is the penultimate episode of this series. Of course, I'm doing only 6 episodes. And today we're looking at a film from 1997 called Hideous, which is an interesting one because it's a B movie, 90s B movie from the creator of Charles Band, who has directed most. It's been some interesting films over there. It's a bit of pretty schlock really over the time. He was part of Empire Pictures at the time, so overseeing stuff like Reanimator, from Beyond, maybe a couple of us here and there really. But yeah, he's a well known sort of B movie director at the time actually, and still going to this very day actually with Full Moon really. Obviously, this is under Full Moon Features, his own company really. And it's an interesting one because I remember seeing this on YouTube actually, because they've actually started putting full films on YouTube on the actual YouTube page of the channel really. So this film is about a group of individuals who go to a castle to seek this doctor who has some let's say some grotesque forms in some test tubes really, or in casings they are, and they're desired really, of course. Obviously when they meet up, things go a bit of awry, of course. There's a gunpoint, a little bit of a hostage situation, and then the castle goes and shut down, so they're trapped in with the creatures who have escaped. And it's just a matter of stopping the creatures and getting out alive, really. So it's basically very simple. It is, indeed. This is shown in Romania. This was Charles Band, obviously, infamous director, hadn't directed a film for maybe about 5 or 6 years at that point, really. So it was him just to return back to his, normal roots, really. And obviously, his production company, say Romania now, had a castle set. They had a castle set from the Subspecies series, I think, at the time. So they basically used that, and also brought a few people. Mel Johnson Jr. is in this. A lot of people know him from Torrico, plays Benny, of course. The guy with the alien arm, of course, at the end, screw you, and this sort of thing, welcome to Mars, and yeah, everyone probably knows him, of course. He's in this. Obviously, another other person to mention is Jacqueline Vell, aka Sarah St. James, who was a glamour model originally and did some softcore stuff at the time, worked for Surrender Cinema, I think, again from Full Moon as well, actually, at the time, and did some stuff for Playboy as well. Bit of like some of the direct-to-video type stuff they did. If you watch them on Internet Archive, actually, they're still there. A couple of films, really. So she's been around, obviously. She's done film and stuff before with Head of the Family, which is again sort of came out the previous year. That's on the YouTube channel. You can see that. And yeah, Jacqueline's got it's got more of that sort of it's like the girl next door, but it has like a femme fatale type of quality to it as well. Mainly, very so glamorous, very sort of has a wholesome image, but also has that sort of the look about her as well. Very interesting. Again, maybe like a tomboyish thing, really, but really interesting. Her outfit's interesting. It's basically just leather stuff, waistcoat and shorts, something else really. If you watched the film, some interesting behind. I think from her perspective, she enjoyed working on the film. Obviously, I think it's one of her experiences on working with Full Moon with Charles Band. Really, also she did Head of the Family. She did The Killer Eye 2 years later in 1999. She did, and yeah, I think the interesting thing about that is that she was freezing cold in Romania, and she had had to wear what do you call it, like Velcro or sticky tape onto her nipples so the thing won't flap out really if you watch the film. Indeed, so that's how they actually achieve that thing really, so they actually just stuck on the covering it really. Interesting enough. There's also all the behind the scenes stuff, which you can actually see a bit on the Video Zone video series really, indeed, at the time. And yeah, it's all, it's quite interesting. I wish they could do a bit more detail with them, but it was a nice little behind the scenes featurette thing they had really at the time what Charles Band was doing. The puppet works is really interesting, so decent practical effects, of course. Music stock standard, but there we go. And yeah, it's just like it's a B movie really, but it's a really interesting one. It's memorable for for that sort of thing with Mel Johnson Jr., Jacqueline Vell, obviously made for Jacqueline Vell, indeed, and some of the creature designs, of course, and it's snowy stuff in Romania really, and yeah, pretty decent. I think the ending sort of alludes to that. It's got, you know, lead to maybe to a sequel that never happened. It's the same with head of the family. Was it Bride of the Family? That was sort of maybe alluded to, or maybe some things were going on there, but it never came to be. And yeah, it's an interesting film. It's very decent. It's not too bad. So obviously, like I mentioned before, it's on YouTube. You can watch it. There's two versions of it you can watch actually, because you got the standard normal version from '97. Just recently, Charles Band did a black and white noir version. He's done that with a few of his other films as well on the channel. Yeah, interesting stuff. But also there's what do you call it? It's like a William Shatner Fright Night thing, where he's, you know, Shatner hosts the you know, does like these interval segments, of course, and saying, in tonight's movie we're going to be watching, and does like, and this often goes to epics and stuff and continues the movie. So there's 3 different versions of Hideous you can actually watch, really. You know, maybe a few of the films like Head of Family, there's 2 versions. This one has 3 versions to it, so there you go. So it was quite, you know, it's quite like a relative known one from Charles Band, especially in his later career, really. It was released here in the UK actually on DVD, rated 15. I thought it'd be like a rated 18 or something, but it's not actually. It's rated 15, so it's palatable really. It's been released on Blu-ray as well. I think it's only been released on DVD here on that original one. You can get on eBay or something like that, and yeah. It does, you know, it does contain like some commentary tracks, but also the Video Zone stuff as well. I think that's for the Blu-ray release, I think, and yeah. Interesting. Obviously, going back with some other stuff. Not sure what Mel Johnson Jr. was doing all the time, but he's done a bit of other stuff since then. Really, I think, you know, probably still around. Jacqueline Novelle, she finished off in about 2000, 2001. I think 2001 actually she started finished her acting career, and then she moved on to do some. She got married to this goth rock star. I think he deals with. Stuff. I won't say worship black magic, but like does weird ceremonies and stuff, and you know, does that sort of thing really, and I think she has returned to that sort of thing with the sort of movie scene, of course, doing her own independent movies for her husband. You can watch them on YouTube. They're doing different parts. They're quite very low key, sort of like that type of stuff, and yeah, for what it's worth, it's. You know, probably worth, if you're a fan of that sort, if you like B movie queens and stuff like that, you know, it's probably worth maybe looking into. And she did return. She did Trophy Head. She did like it's like some anthology thing with Michelle Bauer and Linnea Quigley, and also, you know, maybe a few others from the Full Moon. I actually went with Charles Band years ago, about decades ago, really. So see what you think there. So yeah, I think I found out when I did. When I was just looking, I should have found out about Jacqueline Novelle actually, no Sarah St. James, and just going through all them. I think also maybe from Head of Family from Good Bad Flicks as well. You mentioned the film, mentioned this film, and also just got my interest. It's on YouTube, and so you can watch the whole thing. Of course, like I said, there's 3 different versions. It's interesting for what it was. You know, it's like some B-movie slug, but it's also worth talking about Charles Band, of course, which I haven't really talked about. I talked about Reanimator, which he was sort of involved in, because I was doing Empire Pictures, and yeah. So there we go. That's Hideous from 1997. As always, see you for the next video, guys.